How y'all doing out there? This is Astronaut Talk Radio with Mark Cannon and myself, the brother Ken Watto. You know, we have a special guest today, this sister I've been knowing since Chicago days. Don Lewis. She's here to tell us about what she's do, what she's an advocate of. And let's get to it, Don. How you doing today? How you doing this morning?
Excellent, Ken. And again, my name is Dawn L. Peak. I am the founder and executive director of My Sister's Keepers of Atlanta. I am also the founder and executive director of Her Story. I am a certified life empowerment coach. I am trained in suicide prevention, and I am extremely passionate about raising awareness, education, and empowering women who are victims and survivors, also thriving survivors of sexual assault.
Okay, what made you get into what you do?
Actually, it was my experience of being sexually assaulted as a child. I was molested from the ages of 3 through 17 years old. It started with fondling at 3. At 3 years old. Fondling at 3, oral sex at 4, and penetration at 5. And for 14 years of my life, I remained silent. I was scared silent. I was forced to remain silent. So I finally told my story or disclosed what happened to me at 18 years old. And I tell you, I have not stopped telling my story since then.
At 18, that's when you came out with the story?
Absolutely. I was strongly encouraged to tell my story at 18. So I haven't stopped talking since then.
How long have you been an advocate?
Since the age of 18.
When did you start your organization, in other words?
It's funny you should ask that question because this is a new baby. My Sister Keepers was started back in November of 2018.
Oh, so you just started.
Absolutely. I am extremely new to this. And how this came about is that a wonderful woman by the name of Dr. Maya Taylor invited me to an event that she was putting on. It was called Go Get Our Girls, in which I was asked to tell my story, tell my experience of what it was like living in silence and how I was able to survive that and how I overcame that. And it was an opportunity to tell my story to 400 young girls.
400?
400 young girls. And
it was at an event, a church?
Yes, it was at a school.
A school?
Yes, it was at a school in South Fulton County. And it just broke my heart to see these young women walk into the gymnasium. They had their heads hung low.
Yeah.
You could see the disparity in their eyes, you know, the hurt, the pain, the shame, whatever it is that our babies were going through. It just pained me. And we were cheering them on as they entered the gymnasium, you know, greeting them, good morning, beautiful, good morning. Yeah. And they were not receiving those affirmations, telling them that they were beautiful, telling them that they do have a purpose, telling them that their dreams do matter. And that hurt me because they couldn't look me in my eye. However, when I stood in front of those young ladies and started to tell my story and standing in my truth, they were quiet. They took listen. And the only time that happens is when people can relate with you. So some of those babies were relating. And I saw myself as I looked out into that audience and saw myself in those little girls, because at that age, from 10 through 13 years old, it was really going on in my house. That's when he was really sexually assaulting me. And how I survived those encounters is because you know how a cat has 9 lives? I have hundreds. Every time this grown man laid his heavy body on top of me, I died. I died. I died mentally. I was there. He had me in the physical. He had me in the emotional, but I refused to give him my mind. Once you give away your mind, there's nothing left. So that's what I did. I would be in other places while he was enjoying himself. I was sickened to my soul. So I removed myself from that situation mentally. So that's how I survived. I affirmed myself every single day, telling myself, you're better than this. This is not you. You're not going to die in this. Although I had thoughts of suicide, I never attempted those those decisions. I never move forward with those. And I thank God. I thank God for that experience. I don't cry because of it. I don't blame anyone. Because of that experience of being sexually assaulted, I'm a better person. I'm a strong woman. That makes me an advocate for those who don't have a voice, those who don't have the strength and the courage to come forward, those who by society have made to be ashamed of what happened to them, those who go and hide in the corner, those who do drugs, those who abuse alcohol, those who reoffend, those of my sisters who sit in prison because they can't explain why they're on this emotional roller coaster ride.
Right.
We didn't buy a ticket for that. That's not fun for us. So I just want to ask you all and ask our audience to please, if you notice something, do something. If you hear something, do something. If you see something, do something. No matter what you do, just do something. Our babies need us. Our teenagers need us. You know, we're on the cusp of Super Bowl here in Atlanta.
Right.
And sex
trafficking, I heard
is
that's
huge.
Like a major
Atlanta
thing.
is Atlanta is a hotbed for sex trafficking.
Number one.
Absolutely.
And if it's not number one, it's got to be right up there.
Absolutely.
From what I heard, and I was like, I was genuinely amazed when I found out that, because I heard this, some time ago, but when I first heard it, I was like in total awe, because I hear this and I think of other states and I think of other countries, especially other countries. I'm like, okay, I see that in other countries. Then I'm like, wow, I had to come to grips with the fact that it happens in the United States.
Yes.
Then I had to come to grips with the fact that it happens in our state, and that it's happening in our own backyard.
Yes.
It's like, that's just like, to me, it was just like totally unfathomable that
It is.
this even, this type of thing even goes on.
It is.
And the funny thing is, well, I'm not going to say funny, but the ironic thing is, somebody told me that one thing that the sex traffickers use, once they get one of these teenage girls in there, they say to them, well, you know what? You're having sex anyway.
Yeah.
So you might as well get paid for it.
Absolutely.
And that just makes sense to them at 13
Yes.
years old and stuff like that.
I'm going to pay you to get your nails done. I'm going to get your hair done. I'm going to buy you that new outfit.
Right.
That's enticing to a young girl whose mother is not there for her, whose father is not there for her. That's why it's so important for us to be that village for our young girls, our teenagers. And sex trafficking is not just for girls. It's also huge for boys in Atlanta as well. So
I never even thought about that.
Yeah, we
But I guess so, yeah.
we miss so many signs.
Yeah.
When I was in school, I was not a bad child. I didn't have academic problems. I was the one taking AP classes, extracurricular activities. I did them all. Nobody questioned, why is Dawn always at school? Why is her workload so heavy? How is it that this young lady can work, go to school half a day, then participate in your extracurricular activities, maintain above average grades? Nobody looked at me. They didn't see I was a problem. I did an excellent job of masking what was going on.
So I like to have a question. You said from 3 to 17.
3 through
so
17.
What age that you realized that it was wrong?
I actually knew it was wrong when I...
Because you were still a baby,
Yes.
3 years old?
Yeah, so
That's a
when
baby.
9 or 10-ish, that's when I knew this cannot be right. And then I saw his mannerisms changing. And that's when I said, this can't be right. And when little girls, we have conversations and we talk, back in my days, we used to call it juicing. I'm from Chicago. We didn't call it sex or oral sex. We didn't call it none of that. We called it juicing. That's what sex was.
They used to call it juice.
Yeah, so
See, I've never heard that.
I would have those conversations with my friends, but they didn't know that it was happening to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody knew. My girlfriends, when I finally divulged or disclosed what was happening to me, they were like, when? Because I fit in with them.
Right.
They didn't realize that I took a little bit of each one of my friends and I created an identity for myself because I was lost. I didn't know who I was. I didn't have an opportunity or a fair chance to be a child.
Right.
So what I did, I emulated all my girlfriends. Good for me that all of my girlfriends are good girls.
Good people, right?
Yeah, so I got the best of all worlds.
Yeah, like I said, we go way back in the days. Chicago and all.
Yeah, good 20-something years I've been knowing you.
Probably longer than
Yeah.
that.
You know,
90s. And I would, when I met you, I would have never realized that you went through the things that you did.
No. And I'm a firm believer in sharing my story. It's only when we walk in our truths, when we share our stories, it makes way for other women
Yeah,
to
because
open
it's happening
up.
to some
Right.
girl right now.
Yes,
Right,
absolutely.
right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And you know what? The thing is, like, do you agree with this? I mean, because I was watching something somewhere, I don't recall what or when, but the whole thing, it was like the whole idea of normalcy was like they never said anything because they assumed that all of their friends were going through the same thing, that this was that this was the way things were supposed to be for such a long time, until that time, like when you say that you were around 9, when you realized that something was wrong. Well, whatever time it is, whatever age a person comes into the realization that what's happening to them is wrong, I was told that up until that point they just automatically had assumed that if it's happening to me, this must be happening to everybody else.
No. I grew up in a relatively small town, 20 minutes south of Chicago. My high school was sat in the middle of cornfields. When we first moved,
I used to live in Waukegan.
South Village.
Okay,
Yeah, this
yeah,
is far
yeah.
south.
Okay, there's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And when I first moved to that town back in 79, 80-ish, there was only like 5 black families, and we were one of them. It was majority white. That was a change for me growing up from, moving from the west side of Chicago, all black, to
Right.
predominantly.
From the west side?
Yes, 13th and Hastings.
Oh, yeah.
So I grew up there, and then transitioning from the far west side, where all the faces look like myself,
Yeah.
and then moving to a predominantly white area where there was just few of us. So we created a family for ourselves,
Okay.
and we all had our issues going on in our own homes, but we never talked about them.
Right.
I was being molested. Somebody's mother was, dealing with alcoholism.
Yeah.
Somebody's mother was dealing with mental abuse.
Domestic violence.
Yes, domestic
Right,
violence.
everybody's dealing
And
with
some
it.
of my friends, they had normal lives. I mean, they had a 2-parent biological family household where both the mother and father worked. They had my godparents, God bless their souls. They were the typical family. I loved being with them. They embraced me, had no clue what was going on with me. No clue. It broke my godmother down when I told her what was happening. She didn't know.
Yeah.
No one knew. And they looking at me like, you gotta be crazy. That couldn't have been happening to you because I was normal.
Right.
But we've learned,
They
and our
the
parents have
idea that
conditioned
you have
us.
to be, that something's got to be wrong. You have to be you're gonna, if something's wrong, you're gonna be acting out. You're gonna
Yes.
be doing this.
So
that,
far
and
from
that.
the truth.
Right.
So far from the truth. And we as a society, we miss those signs. Teachers, they always pay attention to Johnny, who's over there banging the walls, pulling Susie's hair.
Right,
They're never
right.
paying attention to Anna or Bobby, who's astute, who's paying attention to their work, who's turning their homework in early, who's very active. Those are the ones we need to pay attention to as well. If not more than the ones who are acting out, because the ones who are acting out, we already know what their problem is.
Right.
The quiet ones.
But it's all, you know what? The thing about it is, it's amazing because it's always, they say it's always the quiet ones, and it doesn't make a difference whether it's. I mean, we're talking about sexual abuse right now, but it's also in regards to a lot of social issues. These people that end up terrorizing schools, bombing buildings, and stuff like that. They're always the one that say, "No, not Johnny.
I know.
No way. We never saw this coming," because they're always the quiet one, the recluse, the one. So it's like, it's amazing.
I was the social butterfly.
You were.
I still am a social butterfly. I love people. I love my people. I love empowering people. I love mentoring people. I love seeing people succeed, and I love it when I have a hand in that. It's like a craft you have.
Right.
God has blessed me with that.
Let me ask you something. Just growing up the way I did and where I did, I think I suffered from PSD, post
PTSD.
Yeah, PTSD. Do you
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's a daily struggle for me.
Yeah.
I get depressed. I'm human.
Right.
I have triggers. I'm human.
Hard to go to sleep at night sometimes.
No. As soon as I'm out here, I'm like the night. See, God gives me, He graces me with that, the blessing to be able to rest my head at night, because I know that I've done good work during the course of the day.
Right.
I haven't harmed anyone.
Right. So why should you suffer, and why should you? Right. When you were not the victimizer.
Well, actually, I was a victim once, but I am a thriving survivor. And because I am a thriving survivor, it is because of that I can go and help other people.
Yeah.
I got the better end of the deal. He's sitting in a nursing home dying slowly, paying
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
what he's done to me. Who knows whomever he's done it to? I don't
Right.
know. I really don't care. I'm out here doing God's work,
Right.
That's right.
what he has blessed
That's
me
all
to
that
do.
matters. Right.
And, you know, I look at it like this. I started a support group called Her Story. And what Her Story does is it encourages women, empowers us to stand in our truth, tell our story so that we can start the healing process.
Yeah.
But the first thing you have to do is acknowledge the assault took place. As long as you try to cover it up with coping mechanisms, you'll never be honest with yourself. And how can you heal if you don't acknowledge what you
Right.
don't? How are you healing something that you haven't acknowledged? So what we do is encourage women, tell your truth. Stand in your truth. No, everybody's not like Dawn. Everybody's not going to be able to stand on the roof and yell, "Yes, I survived sexual assault."
Right,
No,
right.
everybody's not going to do that. But in due time, it'll come. And what we do is we meet once a month on the campus of Emory University. They have graciously allowed us to use a space. Once a month we meet, we tell our stories, and I'm going to tell you what's the most beautiful thing, to see women in a room, not arguing, not fighting, but we're vulnerable, we're sharing our stories, we're healing one another. Slowly, we open up. It is such a powerful, amazing feeling to experience that. It's so beautiful to see a vulnerable woman cry in one moment, laugh in the next moment, and then ready to get out there and fight war. We got to remain, vigilant with our babies. We got to be able to stand in our truths, tell our stories, and help others.
Right.
We got to foster relationships, connect with organizations. So, most people, they don't divulge or disclose what has happened to them, and they start drinking,
Yeah.
they start doing drugs, they reoffend, they end up in prison. There's so many things that we do because of our pasts,
Right.
because we don't know we have the resources available to us.
You know what? I'm going to take. Okay, I met somebody and they told me, told me a little bit about their life, and the thing about it is that, it's there's the other side of where there's the people. There are people who go through something similar to what you've gone through, and yet I realized that they were blocking themselves from even real like their life is upside down right now, and then they told me, they said, something, I didn't know what was going on, and I got married, and I was with my husband, and they were trying to, they were experimenting with certain things, and she was like, well, we tried this, that, and the other, and I just, we talked about it, and I kept saying no, and then finally I said, well, that's my husband, so I'm going to try this. And then when she went to try something triggered her, and she was like, whoa, it all came flood, and now she's a full-fledged adult. And all of these images, she did not even realize that she had been sexually assaulted because, her mind had put that in another spot.
Absolutely.
And yet, at the same time, I think that contributed to subliminally to her drinking and drugging and things like that, even though she didn't even know why.
It does. And it's so unfortunate for us. If we only sit down and take the time, get to know one another, it'll come out. It happens to me all the time. And it's like, hi, my name is Dawn L. Peak. I am a thriving sexual assault survivor. How are you? And it takes some people by shock. I told one guy at work, hey, here's a video of me standing in my truth, telling my story. Why are you telling me that? I'm like, I'm trying to prepare you for what you're about to see. Most people, they know Dawn, they like Dawn, but it's hard for them to understand who Dawn is because there's some underlying stuff that makes me this person who walks in a room. I command respect. I've been disrespected so much in my life, I refuse to allow it to happen anymore. Absolutely. When I walk in a room, I'm going to embrace everybody there, shake your hand, hug you. I'm always giving a word of encouragement to lift one another up.
Yeah.
We do too much tearing down.
Yeah.
Don't we?
I
Yeah.
had 14
Don't
years
we?
of my life plus some living in dysfunction. You know, everybody has a place to go. When you're sick, you go to the doctor. When you need prayer, you go to a place of worship. When you abuse alcohol, you go to AA. When you abuse drugs, you go to NA. There's even a place for family members of drug abusers, NA.
Yeah, right.
When you are a sex offender,
Right.
you are mandated by the state to stay in the house, register as a sex offender for life, and mandated to stay in the house on Halloween so that you don't reoffend.
Yeah.
However, if you are a victim of sexual assault, there's no place for us to go except dark places. There's depression, there's anxiety, there's alcoholism, there's drug abuse, there's reoffending, there's prison. Until now, we have a place to go, Her Story, where you can come, share your story, stand in your truth, get all the necessary resources that you need to build up your spirits first. You know, our plan with My Sister's Keepers is to have resources available to empower women.
Right.
You know, life skills, social skills, resume writing, interview skills, you know, dressing women up, dressing us for success. So that's the plan for My Sister's Keeper. And God has given me a vision, and I mean, it is so beautiful. And, you know, I'm often riding to work, and it's like he's sitting next to me, and I can't wait to get into work because don't judge me, sitting at a stoplight, typing down the ideas that he's given me. And when God gives you a vision, that's part of it.
Yep.
You have to do the work.
That's right.
When he sees you doing the work, he'll meet you where you
that's
are.
right.
Send those necessary resources so that you can be successful.
It's like the pastor was speaking about the other week at the church.
Yeah.
He was talking about the dreams, and, you know, and then the dreams in the Bible, and how they, you know, how who was it? Joseph in Genesis was hated by his brothers just based on a dream. You know what I mean? Not, and jailed because of a dream. Not even because of anything that had actually been put into motion.
Here's the beauty of it. Dreams open your mind.
That's right.
Gives you a broader perspective on life.
Right.
I smile when I have dreams and visions. I mean, I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but I sit and chuckle at myself sometimes. Girl, you know you're crazy. But that's a beautiful thing. Because I've had a terrible past.
Yeah.
I've been in some toxic relationships that I should not have been in. And that's what happens to us. Far too often as a woman, we will meet a man, bring him home, bring him over our kids.
Yeah.
Now Bay is spending the night.
Yep.
Bay ain't leaving. Bay telling you need to go to the grocery store. You're asking Bay to watch your babies while you go to work, while you go out to the club, leaving Bay with full access to your most cherished gifts, your babies. However, if Bay asks you for your PIN number to your debit card or your credit card number, oh, absolutely not. How is it that we can open our lives up, our homes, and expose our children to some demons? Some demons. And do you know what? Sex offenders don't just look like you two. They look like me. They look like your neighbor. They look like your pastors. They look like the judges, the police officers. Sex offenders don't look like the average person with whom we believe. You know, some stringy-haired man, dirty nails. Absolutely no. So different. So be vigilant, be watchful, pray for our babies. When you see something that does not look right, guess what? 9 times out of 10 is not right.
True.
Not right.
Wow.
Don't be speechless now.
No, it's just like I said, it's just a lot to take in.
It is.
You know?
It is. It is. But I thank God for the experience.
Yeah.
You know, I have an amazing team who's just as passionate as I am about raising awareness, educating, and preventing sexual assault on all costs. You know, and it's about connecting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Resources, platform. Thank you to yourselves for
yeah.
opening this up, for
Absolutely.
making way for me.
This is
Let me
This
ask you
is
one.
very
Do
important
you
in our
have any
community.
upcoming events you and your organization?
I do. So February 2nd,
What's going on then?
we are going to walk our teals off. We're going to be demonstrating right across the street from Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Okay.
We're going to welcome all of our out of town guests to
I
our
might be
beautiful city of
I
Atlanta.
might be with you.
Thank you.
I
We
might
want
be
them
with
to avail themselves to the festivities, the parties, the
Okay.
food, the drinks, whatever it is they want to do.
Just be
But-
aware.
Yes, absolutely. Under no circumstances are our babies for sale. Our babies are not for sale. So that's what we'll be out there doing, protesting, demonstrating, welcoming our visitors because we're from the South. We want to show them some Southern hospitality.
Right, absolutely.
And I've learned that in these 13 years since
So
I've
you
been
from-
here. So I learned Southern
You're a Georgia
hospitality.
Peach not done?
Officially, I was
Yeah.
told that when you're here for 10 years, it's officially you're a peach. So I'm officially a Georgia
Yeah,
peach.
I
was
think
told
I
I'm-
might come out there with
Thank
you.
you,
for the
thank
call.
you.
And
Yes.
I want to introduce you to a couple of sister organizations that I know. as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm going
Yeah.
to tell you, this thing is bigger than I am. You know, people have been reaching out to
Yeah.
me asking what can they do to help. You know, just reach out to us. We're on our website is IAMMYSK.org, which is I Am My Sister's Keeper. We are on Facebook. We're at Touched Way Too Soon. We're on Instagram at My Sister's Keepers _, and we're also on Twitter for Touched Way Too Soon.
Twitter.
Yes,
Everywhere.
Twitter.
Gotta be everywhere.
Yes, and we actually have a hotline that you can call
That's
if you
good,
want to
yeah.
talk to someone. We also receive text messages as well, and I'm behind that at all times of the night. I know my husband thinks I'm crazy, but I thank him for his love and support and the sacrifices of
Yeah.
spending time with me
Right.
that he does, give me that time. I'm currently writing a book, which will be
Cool.
debuting between spring and fall of 2019.
Okay.
Cool.
Would you like to give the number to the hotline? just
Absolutely.
while we have
That phone number is 404-439-9331. That's 404-439-9331.
Okay, that's great.
Well, it was nice having you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
it's
so
not
much.
like we strangers anyway.
I know. We're family.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's what's up.
By saying
Absolutely.
that, this is Astronaut Talk Radio. We love y'all. Peace out, y'all.
And keep the faith.
That's right.
Peace.